And joining us today on Codo's Mojo is another crazy NASCAR fan, and he's also another crazy sports fan, and he's also a Twitter comedian as well. It's Dalton Good.
What's going on, Patrick? And what's up, guys? What's up, viewers of the Codo's Mojo podcast? This is Dalton Good, Kyle Busch's #1 fan, Joey Logano's #1 hater. What's going on?
Look at this asshole! He's a He is a That guy right there in the 22, he's a
There you go. That is Dalton's perfect intro. The biggest Kyle Busch fan out there and the biggest Joey Logano hater out there. All right, Dalton. Well, first of all, you mentioned you're a big Kyle Busch fan. Out of all drivers, why is Kyle Busch your favorite driver?
Okay, so I mean, it's kind of a boring way that I kind of became a fan of his, but like, what happened? I started watching NASCAR back in late 2002, and I started off as a Terry Labonte fan. You see, this is back when I was 4 years old. I loved the Tony the Tiger paint scheme. I always loved eating Frosted Flakes for breakfast every morning, but so that's kind of why I became a fan of NASCAR. I really liked that paint scheme, and then yeah, I started pulling for Terry Labonte like late when he was getting ready to retire, late in his dark days. But then Kyle moved on, Terry moved on, excuse me. And Kyle decided to take over the 5-car. I'm like, you know what? I'll just pull for the next guy in the 5-car, and that's why I'm a fan of his today.
All the good stuff, too. I mean, the Frosted Flakes, which I still love, and, of course, all the M&Ms. Like, he's got so many M&M-style cars, and including Skittles, like Skittles. I love Skittles. I love M&Ms. Well, what is also funny, too, you kind of look like him as well.
I have gotten a lot of comments saying I look like Kyle. Like, every time I go to the racetrack, I got people always telling me, hey, you look like Kyle Busch. You look like Kyle Busch. Can I have your autograph? I'm like, yeah, let's go for it.
Well, you're definitely getting autographs now, being a Twitter comedian.
Oh yeah. So I joined NASCAR Twitter about like late 2013. And, of course, I started off as a nobody, like a guy with a low amount of followers. Nobody recognized me, but I kept just working my way up, talking about NASCAR. It took me a while, but then I got famous, and it all started at the Daytona 500 this year. So I had to watch the rest of Daytona 500 at the bar, unfortunately, because I couldn't make it back the next day because of a rain. But then I remember Kyle was leading with 18 to go, and the engine blows. And of course, I'm sitting at the bar all upset. I'm already asking for drinks. And so what happens is that I remember Joey Logano kept trying to wreck Kyle like 5 laps before. Like, I remember he kept shoving him and kept getting him loose, and it started to piss me off. But then I remember, like, I'm sitting there, I'm all pissed off when Kyle hits to the garage, and then I get a tweet from my friend of him taking a picture of he caught Kyle flipping Joey off. And
I saw that, yes.
After, like, as he blew up, I'm like, no. So I just saved the picture. I tweeted it for myself, and it blew up. I had Dave Portnoy retweet it. I had NASCAR's Barstool account retweet it. I went all over the place, and that's basically how it all got started. And then of course I got on all these podcasts, starting with my boys at Father Lee, Connor Bunn, and Timothy Martin, who are coming back this Tuesday, by the way. And then of course your buddies at the Stock Car Spec, Ian and Mike and Nick. We all joined a group chat together, and that's how I got famous, and I'm kind of enjoying it this year.
Well, now you're on the Codo's Mojo.
Heck yeah. I'm getting podcast show calls all over the place.
Yes, you have. And the Codo's Mojo talks more than just NASCAR. We talk other sports.
Heck yeah.
Except the NBA, which you have an issue with.
Well, I mean, I'm just not an NBA fan. But yeah, I mean, I like my Carolina Panthers. I like my Nashville Predators hockey, my Tennessee Vols over there. Those are all my favorite sports teams. I'm waiting for Major League Baseball to make a Nashville team or a Tennessee team somewhere. Then I can become a Major League Baseball fan.
They need to make a Tennessee team.
Please. I'm waiting for it. I don't know what's taking so long. I did hear, I think last year, that they were talking about expanding the teams, like 2 more teams. Like, I heard Nashville and Charlotte are like the top 2 places that could be a Major League Baseball team. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I could watch Major League Baseball. I like baseball, but it's just that I can't really find a team. I don't really want to pull for the Braves, to be honest with you. I mean, I could, but I'd rather just wait for a Tennessee team.
Now, as a Blackhawks fan, I don't appreciate looking at that Predators flag in the background, but one thing you and I have in common, we hate the Blues.
Yes. I also can't stand the Dallas Stars, the San Jose Sharks, and Anaheim Ducks.
Now, why, out of all racers, do you hate Joey Logano?
Oh, boy, this is going to be fun. All right, so anyway, you see, when Joey Logano joined the sport back in 2009 and took over to 20 after Tony Stewart, I mean, I liked the kid. You know, I wanted him to be successful. I wanted him to be a good teammate. But, you know, he just never did anything at Jogas Racing. I mean, his first career win, you know, came from a rain delay. I mean, he wrecked that same race and just came back and won it by rain delay. And, you know, I was hoping that'd be a momentum builder and he'd start getting better. But, you know, as the years went on, he just continued to do nothing. And then I remember in 2012 when he left Jogas Racing and went to Penske. I still liked him. You know, I'm like, okay, he wasn't going to stay at Jogas Racing long for the performance he was having. So, I mean, wherever he went, you know, I wish him the best. I mean, I still liked him. But it kind of all got started at California 2013. I don't know if you remember that finish, but it was the week after Hamlin and Logano got into it at Bristol. So I think Logano, I think Logano bumped Denny Hamlin out of second, I guess, and Hamlin gave him payback. And then after the race, Logano went over to Hamlin's car, got in a fight, and said he was coming for him the very next week. And then they go to California, and I didn't expect them to tangle again. I mean, I knew it was going to make headlines, but I really didn't. Again, I didn't expect them to get into it again. But then they went at it on the final lap. They were battling for the win for about 12 laps. It was a good race, and Kyle was just sitting back there waiting for them to wreck. And then it finally happened. And then Logano, I mean, look, he got loose in a turn 3 when he wrecked Denny Hamlin. Okay, I mean, it was a mistake. I know it was a racing incident. And then, but what really pissed me off, what really started my hatred for him, is he comes on the radio and he says, "Now we're even." I'm like, oh, okay, that's like if you look it up on YouTube, you'll see what I'm talking about. But yeah, he said on the radio, like, you know, "Now we're even." And I remember in the TV interview, he said, "That's what he did to me last week, so that's what he gets." And of course, I know a lot of people are gonna say, you know, "Oh, well, Dalton, you know, he didn't know that Hamlin broke his back when he said that." I mean, that's true, but at the same time, he said to the Speed Channel, which we had back in the day, they were talking to him about Denny going to the hospital, and he said, "Oh, our race cars are safe. I'm sure he's fine." I'm like, you can't just say that they're safe. You can't just say that drivers are invincible. I mean, we learned this from Ryan Newman this year in the Daytona 500. I mean,
he did.
Nobody's safe. I mean, you could still get hurt. You could still die. And I mean, I'm really glad nobody has died ever since Dale Earnhardt. And I hope that streak continues. But, you know, you just can't say anything like that. And that's what kind of started my hatred. But, you know, 2 years later, I started to get over it. You know, I mean, it was a long time ago. It didn't affect me. So I'm like, I'm just going to forget about it now. And then at Kansas, he just spun Matt Kenseth right out while Matt Kenseth was trying to defend his win. I mean, Kenseth's out of the playoffs at this point. He has to win to get into the next round. And then Kenseth or Logano already has a win, and he just spins it right out. I'm like, what? And then what's funny is that the week after, Brian France comes on NBC, and he goes like, what I thought Logano did was smart, you know, to spin Matt Kenseth out. And then 2 weeks later, Matt Kenseth wrecks Joey Logano, which was my favorite moment ever. And then Kenseth gets a 2-week suspension. And then that's when I really started to hate Logano. And then Las Vegas 2017, Logano spun Kyle Busch out of a top 5 finish, and they get in that fight. And so that's basically how the rivalry began. And also, I do not have a good relationship with Penske fans of all drivers. I mean, it's mostly Brad Keselowski fans, but I'm still growing on Brad. Like, I'm starting to like him a lot more.
Good.
Blaney's okay. I like Ryan Blaney, but Logano, no. I mean, he has a nice fan base. I will give him that, but like as a driver, yeah, I can't stand the guy. So that's basically the story of how I hate Joey Logano.